Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Stonnington, Connecticut, and today what we want to talk about is how you can examine your digital situation for your business, your brand, your personal brand, but also how do we analyze our competitors' situation when it comes to social media and online presence, and then really we want to think about is how can we take action in order to improve our digital presence. And the thing is you really got to start by asking yourself a few questions to yourself, ask yourself, what platforms are you on? I mean, think about it. What platforms are you on? And why are you on them? You know, if I think about it, Professor Wolters, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube, okay? If I look at our Wolters World stuff, when it looks at doing our travel things, we're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I'm sure there's a few more on Patreon. We're on a bunch of different platforms, but you really have to start by, hey, where are we? Because once you start to think about all the places you are, then you can start dealing with them. Because some platforms you don't really need to be on, and some you do. But you really need to start by asking yourself, okay, what platforms are we on now? Okay? And then once you start looking at what all the platforms are on, now, what are your numbers for each of those platforms? How many subscribers do you have? How many followers do you have? How many views do you get? How many likes do you get per Instagram post? How many retweets do you usually get with a tweet? I mean, think about it. Are you actually reaching people with that social media? Yes or no? Because you might see that I'm putting all this effort into Twitter, but I get, one retweet and 3 likes for everything I do on Twitter. Because what you want to do when you start to look at your situation, you need to start evaluating and see is it really worth putting the effort into all of these different social media platforms or all these digital platforms? That's why it's important is when you start looking at the platforms you're on, the next thing you want to do is ask yourself, who is actually on these platforms? Who is actually watching YouTube? Who is actually on TikTok? Who is actually on Instagram? And what are they doing there? Because you want to get an idea of what the real market is there. So for example, for my business education videos, who is this for? I'm like, well, who watches YouTube videos? People that want to learn how to do something, whether it is how to tie a tie or learn about marketing. Okay, so they want to learn. So this is a good platform for me to be on. But TikTok, I mean, can I really teach you much in marketing in 15 seconds? I mean, maybe, but maybe that's not my best audience to go for. And so you really kind of think about is who's really on those platforms? And do they line up with your business interests? Because yes, TikTok is the cool thing right now, but look, I'm helping people travel and know what to know about cultures and about around the world, and that's not something that gets across in 15 seconds. So maybe I don't put my effort there. But the thing is you got to think about it. Where are we? Right? What platforms are we on? What are the numbers there? But then who's actually on those platforms and do they line up? And that's why it's important. The next question you're asking yourself is, who are you targeting with these platforms? Because you may just think, well, I need to be on every single social media site because we're supposed to be on all of them. Not really. That's not really the truth, okay? What you want to be is you want to be on the right social media platforms. So if I'm looking at travel, where do I have to be? I have to be on YouTube, I have to be on Instagram, and I have to be on Facebook. Those are the 3 big travel kind of social media sites, okay? But if I'm looking at, like I said, if I'm looking at business education, there you're looking at YouTube, and that's the big one. That's where I need to know. And once you start thinking about that and realizing it, it helps you start to figure out, what should I focus on? Where should I put my effort? There's no reason for Professor Wolters or my Wolters World channels to do much at all with anything on Twitter because, I mean, a good post gets maybe 20 likes, maybe 3 shares or retweets. Whereas on Facebook, we post a few pictures from here in Stonnington. We get 40 shares and 25 comments and people are asking, hey, where's a video about it? I'm like, that one really pays off. And so that's why you really start to think about is who's on those platforms, who am I targeting, how do they cross over? And then the last question, if we look at really trying to figure out is how do you kind of examine your digital situation, ask yourself, what kind of content are you making for each of these platforms? I mean, I know right now when you go on Instagram or you go on YouTube, it's like things just keep showing up that they were on TikTok and they just re-upload them to Instagram and re-upload them to YouTube Shorts. And you're like, oh man, this is just the same stuff over and over again. Well, you have to realize is each platform is different. Okay, my 15-minute long travel videos or my 10-minute long business education videos, they work on YouTube because people watch long-form YouTube videos. They do not work on Facebook because Facebook, man, 3 minutes or less. Okay, you need shorter videos on Facebook, not as short as TikTok or Instagram Reels, but it's something you have to think about. So look at the kind of content you're creating for those. Does it line up with that social media platform? I'll re-upload some of these business videos onto Facebook. Doesn't get the same impact as if I upload them directly onto LinkedIn, where, people are there specifically to learn about business. So that's something you want to really think about. And once you start to get an idea here of examining your digital situation, that gives you a good kind of idea of where you're at. You also need to look at your competitors, because examining your competitors' digital situation can give you ideas on how to grow, but you can learn from them and you can see what works and what's not working. I mean, you can learn from your competitors. They're doing a good job. You can learn from that. They're doing a bad job. You can learn from that as well. And when you do this, you need to ask yourself, who are your competitors? Because you may think, the place across the street is my only competitor. Hey, in a digital world, your competitors are anywhere. It's when people search up your business or your products or your types of services, what else shows up? Those are your competitors. So look and see who really are your competitors. Where are people also shopping for your similar services or your similar products? And then once you start seeing those, then go and search on there. What platforms are they on? What are they doing on that platform? What are their numbers on that platform? If you start to see, it's like, I look at, I see travel Instagrammers, and travel Instagrammers, 300, 400,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. But then I go to the YouTube channel, they've got 20,000 subscribers. I'm like, because the content. Look and see what content are they producing. If they're doing the flowy dress, hold my hand when I walk into a distance, or I'm doing a backflip into some crazy pond kind of thing, that works great for Instagram and TikTok. For YouTube, people are like, look, I'm here for more long form stuff. And so you kind of look at that and you see, who are they targeting with their different platforms? Does it line up? Could you learn from that? Or are you doing better than them? Okay, we see where they're messing up. That's why it's important. The next thing you do is when you look at your competitors, look and see, is their content resonating with their audience? That's one thing. As I look at travel Instagrammers, I see, man, they're getting thousands of likes on every post. It's resonating with their audience. Okay, when they're talking about, here's a destination, here's a tip, here's something like that, that works. Okay, I've got it. But then I see when they do a sponsored post where all of a sudden it's all about travel, and they're like, have you ever wondered what my face routine is and my makeup routine is every day? Wait, that doesn't really work. People don't like that. So they don't like it. They don't share it. They don't comment. You can learn from those things as well. And that's one of the things. If you're looking to develop content, look and see what works for your competitors. You can learn from them. You say, that's a good topic they did. And I know some people say, well, my competitor already did that topic. Well, not from your perspective. I mean, there's tons of people that do videos on visiting New York, but I was like, look, I want to do my perspective of the don'ts of New York, the shocks of New York, the love and hates of New York, because it's different for me. And so I think I can do a better job. So when you see the content, you're like, hey, we could do something like that, but make it your own. And that's why it's important when you start to analyze your competitor's digital situation, think about what you can learn from them and how you can do better. And as you've done so much research, you've looked at yourself, you looked at your competitors, and you're going to start to really kind of figure out how do we need to take action to improve ourselves? Well, I've gained all this insight, and that's the first thing you should be doing. This entire time, you want to be developing consumer insights to understand your customer. Because honestly, I can watch a bunch of videos, but when I read the comments, I see, where do people really have an issue? Okay, people like, I know the main sites to see in New York. What I want to know is, what do I need to look out for? What are the scams I need to watch out for? I can learn from that and gain insights from my customers just by their comments. And as you start looking at these comments, as you start looking at how your customers are interacting with social media, whether on your page or your competitor's page, it really helps you know the how, when, why, who of that social media platform, of those posts. We start to see okay, people don't want, they don't want basic, here is how you do marketing as a business professor. They want education. They want education, but with a fun spin. Make me learn without realize I'm learning. Yes, those kind of educational videos on YouTube do much better than the straight, hey, here's some of the definitions of marketing you should know. The 4 P's of marketing: product, place, price, promotion. And so you kind of see that and you learn from that. So gain those insights to better understand your customer. And as you gain these insights, make sure you also kind of determine your customer's perception of your brand, of your competitor's brand, of the industry overall, because that can give you some ideas in terms of the kind of content you should make, how you should run your website. I mean, think about it. When I say Walmart, you're thinking, oh, it's cheap stuff, right? At Walmart, it's cheap, cement floors, nothing fancy. It's not Target where they got the fancy uniforms and fancy things. No, and so by knowing that, Walmart knows, look, Walmart's got more money than any of us, right? And so Walmart could make the most awesomest website ever. But if they made like a 3D, 4D, super insane website, that doesn't really work with the Walmart brand, does it? You're like, no, you're blue and yellow and you're cheap. That's what I think. So they can have their back office stuff can be top notch, but they have to get across that Walmart brand on their website. That's why it's important for you to know your customer's perception of your brand, and that gets across. Now, for example, me, when I look at the Professor Wolters video, look, I'm making these for my students. I'm making these for other people out there that want to learn. I'm like, look, I'm a normal guy making videos when we travel. That's what I do. You don't see insane editing. I mean, you see some stock footage pop up and some emojis dropping down or whatever. But you know that, look, I know you're not expecting like Brad Pitt to walk in, or do you? No. But you really have to think about is how they do perceive your brand, and that needs to be integrated into your social media. And the thing is when you're doing this, and we're trying to figure out how you put these things in your social media, another thing you need to kind of ask yourself, or at least look at your company's core capabilities. Are you able to do these things? Look, I edit a lot of my videos, but I have a team that helps me out and cuts my videos down and puts those cool emojis in and things like that. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, Tristan and the team. I really appreciate it. But you know that, look, I can only do so much. I have only so much time in my day. I have, 2 kids. I've got a wonderful wife. We do all the travel stuff. I've got the awesomest students in the world where I teach. There's not time for me to edit all the time. I realize that I don't have the capabilities to do that. And so I have people that help me. I have them help me edit some of these videos. And so that's one thing you have to think about with your business. Do we have the people that can make the content that will resonate with our audience? If we don't, then maybe we have people help us with our content. That's why you see people that hire influencers to help. Look, I can tell you how great this Manfrotto is a great tripod, okay? And Manfrotto can have an ad saying Manfrotto tripods are the best. But it's more impactful if they have people that actually use those Manfrotto tripods and say, look, I use this when I'm filming here in Stonnington, Connecticut, or in Bariloche in Argentina. You're like, oh, okay. And so it has more impact. That's why you're like, look, we can't do this. We need to get other people to help us out. So you got to ask yourself that question. And the thing is, when you start to evaluate yourself and you start to evaluate your capabilities, really figure out really determine where you stand in these areas and realize hey, is there something we can do to improve? So for example, with the editing, like, look, I can still edit my videos. I'm still learning how to do that. So if my team misses something or there's a wrong, gate in some city around the world in this video, I can edit it and put it in there myself. I've learned that. I got to do some more stuff with there. But I realize I can't do the funny emojis and the morphing stuff and woo and the spinning, the video thing. I don't know how to do that. I realized that, hey, I don't stand well in that area. I need the help, but also maybe that's something I can improve on. Maybe I should learn better how to use Adobe, right? And I could do it myself. And so we have to think about these things. All right. So if you really wanted to get your digital situation going, really figure out where you are, you have to look at yourself, but don't just look at yourself. Look at your competitors as well. Look at your industry overall, and then take that and use that to improve your digital presence. Okay. So I hope this gets you on a nice pathway when it talks about how to look at yourself and your business, but also your competitor's business, so you can improve your online presence. All right. So I wish you all the best, and I'll say bye from here in Stonnington, Connecticut.